Hello, my dear students. Once again, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to explain you from class 8th course book, chapter number 9, The Slave's Dream. It is written by H.W. Longfellow. First, let me tell you something about the writer. His actual name was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He was an American poet and educator, a teacher, a traveler, translator, linguist, and romantic poet. He identified with the great tradition of European literature and thought. He wrote lyrical poems about history, mythology, and legends that were popular and widely translated. His works made him the most famous American poet of his time. His famous works include Voice of the Night, ballads and other poems, poems on slavery, and his translations of Dante's Divine Comedy. Now let's start with the poem. Here, reading. Have you ever heard about slavery? It was the system by which people were owned by other people as slaves. A slave was considered the property of his or her owner and had to work long hours for that person for free. Do you think slavery is a blemish on humanity? This poem describes the pitiable situation of a slave lying on the ground in the USA and dreaming of his native land. Now we all know what is the meaning of the word slave. Slave is a person who's a legal property to another person. And what is slavery? A state of being slave is a slavery. In that slavery system, there is a process that a person is actually a slave by the other person, and he or she have to work for the other person without any fee, without any outcome. Do you think that slavery is a bruise or a scar on a humanity? In this poem, we are going to read about it. Here, we will talk about a person who is actually from somewhere else, currently living in USA and dreaming about his homeland, his motherland. Now, let's start with the poem. In this poem, the poet talks about the struggles and pain of a slave. Let's read the poem. Beside the ungathered rice he lay, his sickle in his hand. His breast was bare. His matted hair was buried in the sand. Again, in the mist and shadow of sleep, he saw his native land. Here, ungathered means uncollected. Sickle is a tool used to cut grass or crops. Matted means tangle or knotted. Mist means fog, and native land means a country in which one is born, means motherland. So here in this paragraph, the poet talks about the person who is slave. He is lying on the sand beside the uncollected rice with a sickle in his hand. He has not worn any clothes because he does not have any, and his hair is so knotted, so tangled with dirt and dust. As he lies on the sand, he falls asleep, and there in his sleep, he dreams. He dreams about his native land. He dreams about his motherland. Why, through the landscape of his dreams, the lordly Niger flowed, beneath the palm trees on the plain. Once more a king he strode, and heard the tinkling caravans descend the mountain road. Here, landscape means scenery. Niger. What is Niger? Niger, a river in Africa. Float, run along. Beneath means below. Strode means walk. And caravans. Caravans means vans, trailers. Here, descendant means go down. In this paragraph, now the slave is talking about where is he from. He is from Africa, as he saw the scenery of Niger in his dreams. So here the poet wants to say, in his dream, the man is watching the beautiful scenery of the great river Niger, flowing below the plain of palm trees, and he himself walking like a king next to it, listening various sounds like tinkling of a trailers in vans going down from the mountain road. He saw once more his dark-eyed queen among her children stand. They clasped his neck, they kissed his cheeks, they held him by the hand. A tear burst from the slipper's lids and fell into the sand. In this stanza, poet wants to say something about the man. Here once more means once again. Dark-eyed queen, he's talking about his wife. Clasped means great grasp, grasp tightly, and lids is eyelid. So now when he's watching a dream about his hometown, in his dream the man saw his wife, which is similar to queen to him, and he saw his children also. The children are grasping the man very tightly by the neck, and they kissed his cheeks. They held him by the hand. They are taking his hand. Now, at this moment, when he saw his family there, his tears burst out from his eyelid, and that tear fell onto the sand. And then, at furious speed, he rode along the Niger's bank. His bridle reins were golden chains, and with a martial clank. At each leap, he could feel his scabbard of steel smiting the stollen's flank. Here, furious means fierce. Bridle reins means leather straps attached to a horse's bit. Martial means war. Clank means sharp sound. Leap means jump, and scabbard means a cover of a sword. Smiting means hitting, and stollen's flank. Stollen's is a male horse, and flank is a side part of his body. So in this paragraph, the poet says that then the man is riding his horse along the bank of the Niger's river. He is controlling his horse with the golden chains. He is heading toward the war. In each jump, he can feel that the steel from the cover of his sword is hitting his horse's ribs. Before him, like a blood-red flag, the bright flamingos flew from morn till night. He followed their flight o'er plains where the tamarind grew, till he saw the roofs of Kafir huts, and the ocean rose to view. Here, tamarind means a tree that grows in a hot climate, and Kafir is the name of a powerful tribe. Actually, Kafir is word used to insult Africans, black Africans, and Kafir is not good word basically. So here in this paragraph, the poet wants to tell you about the freedom that the king that the man feels before. He said that before him, like a blood red flag, the bright flamingos flew. He can see flamingos like for very long time. He can see them uh, fly from morning till evening. From morning till evening, he followed their flight. He can see the flamingos can ride, flamingos can fly from morning till evening. And the pink color of flamingos here he describes as a blood red flag in the sky. O'er plains where the tamarind grew, till he saw the roofs of Kaffir's hut, the ocean rose to view. He can ride his horse or he can go from plains to ocean, from plains in that area the hot tree can grows from the oceans, and he can see everything. He can see the Kaffir's huts also. At night he heard the lion roar and hyena scream, and the river horse as he crushed the reeds beside some hidden stream, and it passed like a glorious roll of drums through the triumph of his dream. Here, reeds means tall grass and triumph means victory. At night, when he is sitting silently, he can hear the lions roar and he can hear the scream of the hyena. Now, the river horse he crushed to the reeds. At this moment, he is riding his horse. His horse is crushing the tall grass beside the bank of the Niger and some hidden stream, and with the riding the horse he can also crushing some bushes also, and it passed like a glorious roll of drums through the triumph of his dreams, and he feels that there he can hear the drums also. Somebody is rolling a glorious drums, and he can feel that he can win all the war, and he is winning his war, and he can feel his victory in his dream. The forests with their myriad tongues shouted of liberty, and the blast of the desert cried aloud with a voice so wild and free that he started in his sleep and smiled at their tempestuous glee. Here, myriad means a large number, and tempestuous means full of very strong emotion. Glee is happiness. Now, in the forest, when he was crushing some bushes, he was riding his horse, he was hearing lions roar and hyenas scream. There, he listens so many tongues also, so many languages also. And what are the languages shouted? They shouted about the freedom. The languages, the wordings, they are actually telling him to get free. The blast of the desert cried aloud with a voice so wild and free. The voices looks like they are crying aloud, and the voices are so wild, the voices are so free. They are telling him to get free, and he's like, by the hearing those voices, he started smiling into his sleep, and he is actually feeling so much happiness, so much happiness. He is feeling the motion of happiness into his sleep. He did not feel the driver's whip nor the burning heat of day, for death had illumined the land of sleep, and his lifeless body lay, a worn out fetter that the soul had broken and thrown away. Here, whip means lash. Illumined means lit up. Worn out means extremely tired, and fetter means chains put around a prisoner's feet. So here the poet wants to say that the person does not feel the owner's whip or the burning heat from the sun because he has left his body in his sleep, but his lifeless leg is still in chains while his soul has already broken the chains and throw them away. So here is the explanation of the chapter number 9, The Slave's Dream. I hope you guys understand it now better. Thank you for watching this video. Kindly like and subscribe my channel. Keep studying, keep supporting and keep sharing. Thank you.